Hello there, welcome to the Glow Up Method. This is the place where we talk all things about improving our life, personal development, sharing our wisdom through our stories so that we can send little ripples out there in the world and create this tidal wave of change for not only ourselves but others. Hello, my name is Natasha and I will be your host today. I am so delighted to be here with you today. Hi, today's subject matter that I'd like to talk about is about change. You all know that old adage, people don't change, people don't change, people don't change, blah, blah, blah. I am here to call a big fat BS to that because here I am. I tell you all the time, I am evidence. I am living proof people can change. The caveat is are you willing to change? Are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to put in the time, the energy, and the focus to making this change a reality for you? And we've talked about it here before. One of the catalysts to change is knowing your why. My why can't be like, I want to change for my kids and I want to change for this person. I want to change for my boss. No, the why has to come from a deep place within, something that resonates with you, that allows you to keep moving forward on the difficult days where we lack the motivation, we lack the desire, we go into our default settings, our trained behaviors, and understand and have this like forgiveness that yes, there are times that I am not a perfect human. I know, right? So there are times that I may yell at my kids. There are times that I may make a decision that's maybe not in agreement with everybody around me. But the thing is making this choice to change, it has to be super personal. It has to be for your own personal growth and development to have success. Every time I went on a weight loss journey for a vacation, for a reunion, for, something that was not connecting with me, even to like lower my blood pressure, it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for me to sustain. Now, having this vision and this idea of playing with my grandkids at the park and getting on the ground and living this beautiful life, that resonated with me. That motivated me on the days when I was like, I don't want to. I want to lay in bed. My legs hurt, my arms hurt, my heart hurts, my mind hurts. Like, you have to know what your why is, because any journey encompasses a holistic approach, in my opinion. There is a physical aspect. Obviously, with a health and wellness journey, it's obvious. Physical means exercise, right? So that means, walking, running, burpees, whatever it is that you like. Maybe it's kickboxing, maybe it's dancing, maybe it's golfing, maybe it's pickleball. Whatever it is, there's something for everyone. There are classes that I don't particularly enjoy, but I participate in it, such as my bar. That is somebody else's favorite class. That's fine. There's something for everyone. So, you have a physical aspect. You have a mental aspect, right? So you have to figure out and learn and research and align yourself with people that are knowledgeable in this area. For me, it's aligning myself with a dance instructor, a bar instructor, a yoga instructor, whatever kind of instructor, somebody that knows what I don't know and can help make sure I'm in the correct form. I'm doing things to not harm myself. I'm warming up. I'm cooling down. I'm having a good time. That is the mental, doing the research and finding out what things are healthy for me, what exercises, how to do things. That's all part of the mental. There is an emotional factor that goes into change, right? It is, like we talked about, it is our why. It's having these feelings and being able to overcome those days where I was like, I don't want to go to the gym today. I just don't want to, but getting in the car, building that resilience to know that I can do hard things on hard days. And it doesn't mean that yesterday's level of performance, even though we're being 1% better, the 1% better is continuing to show up for yourself. It doesn't mean my workout, I'm going to be 1% better. There are days that I'm going to be 10% better than I was yesterday. There are days that I'm going to be 100% better. But on the contrary, there are days that I'm going to show up with a lot less energy because there's other factors going on in your life. There is a spiritual reason, right? There is a getting in tune and in touch with yourself and releasing all those worries, releasing all those things, and finding this flow like Zen like state in this activity that you perhaps never thought you would have loved, even knew existed, thought you would even possibly enjoy. It is the getting stronger. It is connecting to something deeper than what is obvious. And then there is this aspect of it is living this life of your dreams, of your doing, of your creation by your hands. It's not by chance. And so, I remind you again here to control your controllables. I can control me. When it comes to change, that is on me. I cannot change for somebody else, even though I may want them to change, and I can influence them. I can love them, but it doesn't mean someone's going to change. And to expect, even if they're telling you they're going to change, that somebody else is going to change, honestly, it's futile to yourself, because you get your hopes up, right? I have family members who are alcoholics, and they say, if X, Y, and Z happens, I'll stop drinking. If this happens, I'm going to stop drinking. And maybe they do, and maybe they want to. But at the end of the day, if they don't change, it's not because of something I didn't do. And it isn't about letting me down. It just means they haven't found their why. They haven't, reached their rock bottom. They haven't discussed, or maybe they don't want to really change. They just want to tell other people that because they don't like the shame and the judgment and the guilt and all the things that are wrapped up in whatever they're doing that they feel like they need to change. I mean, when I was overweight, I was constantly filled with guilt and shame and embarrassment. I wore all of my insecurities outside on my thing. It was obvious I was going through things. Now, I had a woman at the gym today tell me, that she had her daughter was like, who is this lady? She has all this energy. And she just said to her, and she just seemed so happy. And she said, you have no idea what this woman is going through on the back end or what she has been through. But yet she shows up day after day, class after class, and she presents herself in a fashion in which you would have no idea. And it's not I'm faking it. It's I'm genuinely present and happy to be in that moment. It is about understanding that when I walk in that room, and sometimes I'm not able to do it. Some days it's a struggle, right? Dance is an emotional thing. It brings up a lot of things for me. So, there 99% of the time I can leave the BS at the door. Sometimes it's so strong and powerful that it's attached to me. It's like, honey, we ain't going anywhere. But I really work hard at being very grateful for where I am in the present. Today, I couldn't help but think I'm so blessed and lucky that I can move my body. It wasn't that long ago that I wasn't able to do a lot of the things I'm doing. I do them gingerly sometimes, but the fact that I've made the progress and built myself back up to get to the place where I'm able to do these things without being in constant pain, I am so grateful and appreciation for. I am really honoring this moment. And I know how fragile life is, how your one kick or dance move or fall away from really having big changes happen within your body, your family dynamics, and everything. And so I know it can be very difficult to choose to change, right? We get very comfortable in what we're doing. We're afraid to take the risks. We're uncertain, and we love to survive, right? We are humans. We want to survive. We want, predictability. We like patterns. And yet somehow when we have all these things, we often feel stuck and unfulfilled and lost, and we've suppressed who we are. So we have this delicate balance that we're balancing, right? Between living a life that we deserve and we want, having the courage to discover what it is, and then taking the leap of faith to follow it through and see what happens. So, life has been such a beautiful blessing, but also has been filled with so many lessons. I mean, every time that I think that I have reached a certain level of mastery within a relationship or something I do, I am surprised left and right. I really do feel like, these last parts of the journey, as I've said on here many times, it's not about doing anything physical. Quite honestly, I'm doing less physical than I have been doing in the past year. But yet I'm still releasing. Just for so many years, this beauty of this dancing and working out for me, and like taking a walk today is a beautiful 72-degree weather day with a coolish, warmish breeze. It is a perfect day for me, and I couldn't help but say, I'm going to put my work on hold, and I'm going to really just embrace this moment of being able to take a walk outside. It was so beautiful. I asked my son if he wanted to go. He didn't want to go now. I asked my daughter if she wanted to go. She did not want to go with me because she's irritated with me at this moment. My other son was like, no, thank you. I took the walk by myself. I loved it. I listened to music. I listened to the birds. I listened to nothing, and I also listened to an audiobook, like all mixed in. I did some recording, some shorts. I was able to get a lot done. So it seems in some ways that I was, passing the buck, but I really got to sit here and use that time to think. Like, sometimes we delay what we want to do because we are doing what we have to do, and the next thing you know, doing what you want to do makes doing what you have to do so much easier. Like, it all worked in together, and I got more accomplished and done on that walk than I perhaps would have sitting in here. And I'm just really grateful where I'm at. Again, I am so pleasantly surprised by where Chris and I are at. I honestly, in a gazillion years, never thought I would be where I am in this very moment, where I'm really enjoying and grateful for the time together. It's so weird. It is so weird. And I don't expect anybody to understand, but it just is a reminder to me to take the risk. If you're feeling something, and for so many years, I suppressed my feelings, right? I pushed them down. And so the beauty of dance is I get to move these things out of my body. I don't just have to hold on to them. I can talk about them. I can experience them. I can process them without ignoring and pretending they're not happening. As I was on my walk today, you could see the moon, but yet the sun was out. And it was just this reminder that two things can happen at the same time, right? You often think and relate, and I know we all have seen it, where the moon's out during the day, but oftentimes we think the moon is out at night and the sun is out in the day, right? That's the natural progression, unless you're in different parts of the world. I don't know. Where I'm in California, that's how it rolls. I know when I was in Sweden, the sun was out till, nearly 1 a.m. So, it's obviously very different, but it just was this ever-present reminder that two things can be the same. Like, it can be day and the moon can be out. I can experience two things at once, and so can you. For so long, that wasn't like a concept I really understood. It was like, I'm either mad or I'm happy, and it's like, again, I had the situation where, the first time that I was like, oh, I get it. I was planning a trip to Disneyland with my family. We were supposed to all go. My son was reluctant, and then he just decided at the last minute, I don't want to go. In one aspect, I was so proud of him for speaking his truth, for telling me, for doing what he wanted, for honoring who he was. But I was also really sad that he wasn't going to be part of the experience. And so that was the first time that I understood or related, oh, I get it now. I can be two things all in one. And so having the moon and the sun out, it made me realize, today, I could be productive, yet enjoy what the day has presented to me. At the same time, I don't have to do this particular routine and this thing to be able to be successful. Success is defined by me. I can change the system. I can change the plans for the day and it still work out. And, I have changed my opinion of Chris. I have changed my approach to what it is like to be like in a relationship. I have evolved and said, I'm okay to speak what I'm feeling. I understand that there are no guarantees about what he does, if he will change, if change is sustainable. I have nothing that I can control. All I can do is allow time to pass and see and take him for who he is showing up as today. And yes, I have all the scars and the wounds, just as he does, of how we had showed up for 25 years. But what I know is when I sit here looking at him in the present day and in the present moment, and we're taking a walk and he's putting in those efforts to say, how is your day? What is it you would like to do? When he's also putting in the effort, and I'm also It's a mutually, it's not just about me and it's not just about him. It is about a give and a take. And that has always been my goal. It is to have this partnership where someone else can meet with you and have these conversations eye to eye and face to face and see you as a person. You know, last night he just said, you know, like every day, you know, since we've talked, I'm like, tell me something nice like that, you know, like that makes me, it's important to me. I want to hear, I'd love to end the day on something that is kind, that is nice, that is, you know, it helps. It's very nurturing and heartwarming to me. And so he, you know, he did, and last night was like, it is very cute the way you look at me. You look at me with this like this clean look, this innocence, this sweet look that I haven't seen in a long time, if ever. And so it's so interesting because that is how I see him now. You know, previously I would see him for all of his faults and all of the expectations I had on him that were either communicated and unmet or never ever communicated. And so in our last effort to reconcile and make everything, I used that as this platform to learn how to be honest with him, to learn how to speak what it was I needed. But I was very firm in it and I was very non-compromising in it. This part of the journey for me, this part of the second, you know, reconciliation-ish experience has been about having a little bit, just like with myself, a little bit softer of the edges. It's been about expressing what it is I need, expressing my feelings, and not having all that expectation on him to change. It has been about me changing. If you show up differently in your job, in your relationships, you know, at the gym, your world changes. I'm going to say that again. If you change, your world changes. You see it differently. You move in the world differently, and the world responds to you differently as such. If you continue to do it the right-handed way, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you being who you are. You are perfectly perfect the way you are. Don't feel like you need to change anything about yourself. But if there are areas, if there are blind spots, if there are things that just don't sit right with you and you'd like to improve, if you would like to move forward, I encourage you to have the courage to change. You always have the option to go back. I can go ahead and go back and being the snappy, you know, expecting, huffing, irritated because you're not doing this or you're not doing this. I have played a part of the role in which Chris has done this, you know, behaves with me. I've enabled it. I have not communicated needs. I have communicated in unhealthy ways. I played a part in that. And taking that ownership, taking that accountability, it isn't to beat myself up about it. It isn't to be like, oh, you were a bad wife and all these things. It's about saying, hey, you've had this space and you want to show up as the best version of you. And in this relationship, that is as a wife, as a partner, as a whatever the heck we are, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want to twist it and call us at this moment, you know, whatever it is, it's exploring what it is to be in a healthy relationship. It is exploring what it's like to just lay in bed again and laugh and giggle over stupid stuff. It is a beautiful thing. And I know that I can go out and explore these things with one of the other 7 billion people that are whatever. Well, let's take that. Whoever isn't married and or in a relationship or whatever it is, because that isn't my deal. But like, I know I could do this and start a fresh new beginning with somebody else. But for me, it's really important to say, hey, can I give it one more shot with this person that I committed to over 25 years ago? I tell you, I'm loyal. I am, as much as I preach, I love change. There are certain things and certain people that I have a connection to, and I feel a lot of comfort. I feel really safe in exploring this type of relationship with Chris. And if it works with Chris, what a bonus. I keep my family together. He keeps his family together. We keep our family together. And if it doesn't work, that's okay, because I feel like we are getting to a place where even if it didn't work out, there is a compassion, a looking at each other with a different set of eyes. It isn't this set of eyes that Chris used to look at me that is thinking that I want to sabotage him and I want to hurt him and I'm abandoning him. I am here. I am showing up. I am saying I care. I want to be with you. I want to spend time with you. It is how I can show up in hearing what his needs are and understanding and deciphering how it is that I am capable of showing up to meet those needs and having discussions, and him too. So I feel like we have grown more in these last few weeks than we had in 25 years. Even without the use of a therapist right now, even without those things, we have those tools. And I think what really it took was the willingness to come to the situation with a different set of eyes. I have changed. Chris has changed. And these were both by choice. And I can't guarantee his change is going to stay. But what I can do is control my controllables, and that is me. I can support him, I can love him, and I can inspire him. But by all means, that is his journey as much as this is mine, and it is your journey as well. So if there are areas in which your life you're just not feeling right about, or it just feels off, know that things in life and conditions change. I glance outside. I'm looking at my succulents. If you've been along with me on this journey, you understand when I put those succulents out there, it was beautiful. I loved it. I adored looking at them. There are these succulent planters outside my window. I spent a lot of time. This was around Mother's Day, and it was just this ray of sunlight and life outside my window. And the next thing you know, the harsh conditions of summer came, and they didn't have deep roots. They didn't have the foundation to grow. And some survived despite it. Like some were like, hey, we're resilient little things, and they survived. But many of them died. And I wanted so badly to be there. I wanted them to be there. I worked really hard on the planter, and I just wanted it to be there. And my stubbornness took root until finally more and more things kept dying. And I had this epiphany that it just might not be the right environment. No matter how much I want them to be there. Hello there, my friends. I am back, and much like everything happens, change. I had to change the environment. My phone overheated. So here we are to finish us up here today. So what I realized, much like my relationship with Chris, I was talking about the succulents, right? Is much like I had wanted with Chris, that we just were not in the right environment for one another. I wanted to be together. Maybe he wanted to be together. We were just too harsh of an environment together. And so moving my plants and then seeing them thrive again. Yes, some things once dead never came back to life again. But suddenly they had this environment that was safe, that was secure, that was cool enough for them to take root and create the foundation in which they needed to thrive. And now that they were stronger, and now that they were more resilient, I could once again return them to the environment in which I wanted them to. And here they are. They're absolutely thriving. I mean, they are growing, and they are beautiful. Even prettier than I ever expected them to be. They are thriving and shining. And so I have the same hope with my relationship with Chris, that yes, some parts of it may have died off, but in our separation, in that removing from being in that same environment, we allowed growth. We are in this stage where we're allowing good, healthy roots, resiliency to grow in order to thrive. And that will either be to grow and thrive together, or it will be to grow and thrive apart. And so I'm just really, really grateful for these little metaphors, these little symbols, like my car, these things that just seem like so, non-consequential, that have nothing to do with anything, suddenly somehow kind of relate back to my experience and relate back to my relationships. I'm really struggling with the fact that, my daughter is really taking on a lot as a result of this relationship that I'm deciding to pursue with Chris. She has her own perspective and her own reasons, and they're all so valid. And she's young, and she just doesn't see the entire picture about how it is her life. And, she gets very absorbed in, and she just cares so much for people. And so she hurts deeply. And it's just so hard to witness. And it's hard to know that I'm part of her pain, because I don't want her to be in pain. I really don't. But I also understand now where this is her journey. I cannot continue to try to mitigate the pain of my kids, of Chris, of others, in spite of myself. And that's what I did for so long, is I acted strong and I acted brave and I did anything to avoid what I would perceive as them having pain in order to make them happy. And I now need to allow them the space and time to understand life sometimes has pain and we have choices. Even when we're in pain, like nobody would fault me if I would have laid in bed and didn't go to the gym, when my life fell apart. Like nobody would have faulted me. Everybody would have understood. But at the same time, life goes on and the show goes on. And yeah, there are days and times that I was in pain physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of that. And I couldn't function. I was, just trying to survive, right? I was trying to make sure my kids were okay. I was trying to make sure I was okay. I was trying to sleep. I was trying to eat. There were things that I was still doing in order to just have the baseline survival. And once I got past that, and once I got past that initial shock and horror and disbelief and sadness, I was able to move along and process what was happening in a healthier way, where I was able to sit with it, even when it sucks. And I understand what I'm putting myself through. There is no guarantees that I'm not going to be hurt again in the future, or he's not going to hurt again in the future. But what there is a guarantee is I'm honoring where I am right now. I'm honoring my experience, and I'm not trying to look into the future and say this or that or this or that. I'm trying to understand where I am today and who he is today, and move forward based on that fact. That doesn't mean we just ignore all the other past wounds and hurts and all those things. It just means we don't have to be on this rapid, we're going to fix everything, we're going to heal everything all in one time. We have to have balance, right? There has to be the laughter, there has to be the relaxation, and there has to be the healing. It's all a part of the process, and it doesn't happen overnight. Just like my weight loss journey, I did not hit the gym once and 300 pounds melted away. Well, 300 pounds, that'd be nothing, but 100 plus pounds didn't melt away. It was a painful, but yet extremely rewarding process. And so my camera just wants to do whatever it wants to do today on its own, and I just have to go with it, and we're just going to flow with it. So I say all this to say, change is possible if you're willing to do it. It's going to take work. Change also means there's some pain. They're called growing pains for a reason. It's not always linear. It's not always easy. And it is simple though. Like, you are capable of doing so much more than you think you can. So if you'd like to move the needle forward in your own life, if there are things that you are putting away, procrastinating, stuffing, ignoring, and it just doesn't sit right with you, you want to make these changes, start small, super small, and know you can do it. The life you want is out there for your taking. Start saying yes to when your friends invite you to coffee. Start saying yes to going out and showing up for yourself. Say yes to you and say no to other people's BS and their things that you cannot control. You can control you. You can change if you're willing. And so let's talk about it. Share below the ways in which you're going to change your life and live this life that you damn well deserve. So go out there today. In the process of doing that, please share your kindness and your light. Go out there, give somebody a big smile, give them a compliment, and honestly, just sit back and watch how they glow up. The kindest thing you can do to somebody is see them. And just seeing somebody can change the entire trajectory of their life. And you getting to witness that, in a way, changes yours. That's like a side cherry on the top bonus. But looking at somebody else in the face and seeing them be seen, it's indescribable. So go out there, make sure you do that today. Make sure you look at yourself in the mirror and do that too. Compliment yourself. Look at you. Look at your hair, look at your eyes, look at your smile, look at your just beauty of who you are. You are an amazing being, and this world is 1,000 million times better because you're in it. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.